right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
Ha ha ha! Is that 7 in a row?
You are correct, sir.
Dang. 7 in a row. All right. I'm loving it. 7 in a row. Win tomorrow. Go into Chavez Ravine tied up with identical records on Friday night for first place. Big game tomorrow.
The way it should be.
We'll talk about tonight's game. Giants win it 10-7. Let's first thank our sponsor, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed all of California. Chapman Law Group for all your legal needs, especially if you got a personal injury. Do not settle with an insurance company without talking to Chapman Law Group first. 415-613-9483. I would do it. And you know what? I personally am doing it. I am in talks with Chapman Law Group. They are helping me out. So give Chapman Law Group a call. And here we go. And I'm just going to say it, everybody. I told you Casey Schmidt can play baseball. A lot of you guys didn't believe me. And I've been telling you, kid's talented. He just needs at bats. That walk, the reason he had that walk is because he's getting consistent at bats and he's seeing the ball better. You don't chase when you see the ball better. And when you play your natural position, you have more confidence. How about that play tonight? Casey Schmidt at third base.
Chapman
going into foul territory and throwing the guy out by 20, 30 feet.
It was amazing. Play of the year in my mind.
Hey, how about the slide at home plate tonight?
Great slide.
Casey, keeping his hand on the dirt, not lifting it. Knew he was safe. Immediately, you know when you're safe and you're not when you play ball. You know exactly what you're doing when you play ball. And I said the same thing about Elliot Ramos. Let the kid play. All right? Let the kid play 2 years ago. And they sent him down, and then they sent him down last year. And I was like, and I've been trying to tell guys that, you know, I watched a lot of baseball over 50 years, and I can tell who's a journeyman player and who's not a journeyman player. And I really believe the Giants are doing the same thing to Matos. I think if Matos got enough at bats, he would get the confidence. You know, I like Yaz out there in right field, though, in late innings. He's a hell of a defensive player, and he came through tonight with the bat. So give it up for Yaz tonight. He was huge.
2 games in a row.
Yeah. Look, the Giants are going to have offers. People are going to want Casey Schmidt. There's a lot of crappy third basemen in baseball. I think if Casey played every day at third base, he'd win Gold Gloves. And if he was in the American League, he would definitely be a candidate for Gold Glove. There's not many great – I mean, your best third basemen in the National League are obviously Chapman and Machado, right? Those are the –
Yeah, I'd say the fourth toughest position is third base. You know, I think you'd probably go shortstop, catcher, you know, are the 2 toughest positions offensive and defensively. And then probably I would say maybe like center field, depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
And then definitely third base, you know.
Yeah.
And
Arenado, he's still great. And I mean, he's getting up there, but he's still amazing. You know, you've had 3 of the most amazing I mean, Chapman's only been in the National League for a year and a half, right? But prior to that, he was all American League. But it was always Machado and Arenado for the Gold Glove. And, you know, Ryan McMahon for Colorado's no slouch at third base, too. He's a pretty doggone good fielder. But you know what? Eddie makes a point here. If Chapman comes back, say it's close to the All-Star break, and Casey keeps hitting and getting it, and he plays great defense. Now you've got a situation where you go, where do you put Casey, right? You put him at second, you put him back at first. What do you do? We'll see. Look, it's only been a couple of games. He's played 3 straight games. He's got hits in all 3 games. Tonight, 2 more hits. The big hit in the 9th, that was a big run, that extra run. So, no, that's 2 different spellings. Casey Schmidt is with 2 T's, no D at the end, like Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt and Schmid. I don't know how you distinguish the 2, but they're 2 different spellings. Yeah, Mitchell Ness, I totally hear you. That's what I just said. I just said it's only been 3 games. Let's see. He's still got, a lot to prove, and it has only been a few games, but I like what I see. I'm encouraged because he's focused in and just playing ball. He's getting a chance to play. And I've always said, and I always felt it myself, when I played my natural position, I was always better at the plate, because when I played my natural position, I was just, the game was never boring, whether offensively or defensively. I was always into the game as a center fielder, and it was, just exciting to play that position. And I think that's what the Giants have done with Tyler Fitzgerald this year, just giving him the second base job. If you look at Tyler Fitzgerald, I know he's made errors this year, but I can't remember too many. He's played pretty good, solid defense at second base. And we just need to work on his base running.
Very solid hitting wise, too. A lot better than I thought he'd do. But yeah, running. Well, I think a lot of the team needs help on running the bases.
The Giant. Well, he didn't get any help from the first base coach tonight on that overthrow. The first base coach Halberg told him to go, so he took
tonight's
off.
Game sort of had everything. I mean, it was funny. I had 3 TVs going.
Oh yeah,
because I had the NBA game, which was incredible. I sort of, I have a little wager at a pretty big price for the Pacers. So I was watching that. Then I was watching the Giants, and then trying to watch a few other things on MLB Network while they're going back and forth. Before we forget that, I think Stefan has a super chat, which I think is purely something we should talk about too.
Says, all I'm going to say is got to play better in LA. Yes. And we'll get to that, Stefan. Great point. We'll talk a little bit more about tonight's game and then get into tomorrow and then the upcoming series. That is a huge point. You're not going to win ball games the way they played the last 2 nights in LA, because you're not, number one, if you get behind late in the game, 2-3 runs to LA, you're probably not coming back. The Giants hitting, the park is so vast, right? Is that a good word for it? It's vast. It's huge. That how many balls just blooped in there? Not even balls that were hit 70 miles per hour falling in. And the Rockies outfielders, playing so deep. And then you watch some of the Rockies hits that are routine outs, fly balls. And the park is either the dimensions from the left field corner to the right field corner have to be several more feet than any other ballpark.
Yeah, mile high up. You got to remember.
But just
the chat might not remember this when it first opened up. They had to change the balls. They have to go in a humidifier now because the ball would just take off. Dan, what was like the first year they averaged over and unders were like 18 runs because all you got to do is get the ball up and it would fly. But actually, in case you guys don't know, they have a humidifier that they put the baseballs in, just like cigars. So if you've ever seen a cigar in a humidifier,
humidor,
to keep it fresh. Humidor, excuse me, to keep it fresh. They do the same thing up there. They have to, That's why that ballpark is so unique, and no run is ever safe up there. I mean, it's been we've had a few bad losses, but I think the one good thing about the Giants, we're playing Colorado, but they're doing what they have to do to get the W. You don't want to, last night they almost lost. Tonight they didn't, but they came back both, because these are two big wins. And as you see in the standings now, I know it's very early, they could be the difference. Instead of two more wins, you have two losses. It's a 4 game turnaround, especially where this division right now, everyone is, it's going to be a battle.
I think they're going to be happy to get out of there. They don't like this mound. They were talking about the mound early on tonight, that it's a little lower. And, Ray was wild to the glove side tonight, just like Harrison was last night. And the glove, that side, the way that they step, if it's just off a little bit for a pitcher, it can really mess you up, because everything with pitching is all about your plant foot, your landing foot.
But you got to remember, they've had so many problems in Colorado because nobody seems to know how to pitch there. I mean, there's been some great pitchers that go there as free agency, sort of like how the batters don't want to come to Oracle. The pitchers don't want to go to Colorado for the same reason. You could be good and you make a little mistake and the ball's a home run, or they have such a big gap. I forgot the one guy they got, the lefty, that Colorado was their first major pitcher, and the guy was a complete stud, and he went up there and they paid him $30 million a year, and he couldn't get anybody out. You remember that lefty, sort of a smaller guy, Colorado got? It was like the first big free
Mike
agent. Hampton. He couldn't do anything when he became the Rockies.
Yeah.
It was just a total bust. So Hampton, thank you, Spence. But you know what? Hey, 7 straight wins. Let's go on the positive. You got to get these wins, because you got the Dodgers. Again, we've talked about the schedule coming up, guys. It's going to be brutal until July 13th. It's going to be very tough against teams that have, good, decent pitching and all can hit. So,
wild. Yeah. Hey, Giants win it tomorrow.
And you win the series. Got to try to get the sweep. Got to get the sweep.
Win tomorrow, and you enter LA tied with identical records. That's
all you can ask.
Yep. Barry Bonds. We got Barry Bonds joining us tonight. Says Casey Schmidt filled in very well for Chapman and helped the team winning momentum. Hey, look, that was pretty awesome tonight. That walk was crucial, because
9 pitches, I believe, and it was all sliders.
And
every pitch was a slider.
He got that walk, and then Yaz comes up clutch with the double off the right field wall, just missing a 3-run homer, and then it's tied up. And Fitzgerald lays down a beautiful bunt and a heck of a slide by Casey, because what he did is he pulled his, if you notice, the way he slid is he took his body away, as far away as he could from the tag, and used his left hand to sneak under. If you dive closer to the plate, you're out.
The slide,
if you're more, your body's straight with the plate, but pushing the body out, and getting that hand in there just underneath was critical. So,
Dan, I just wanted to bring up one stat, because today's Wednesday. So last Wednesday, you did something and we have not lost since then. You took a bite of a cookie from Aaron and said, "This is one of the best cookies." And then what happens? A couple days later, you actually made contact with Casey saying, "Don't worry, believe in yourself." So that cookie gave you the magic touch where you gave it to Casey, and now he's given us 2 wins.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Aaron, well done.
Really, I think everything
happened serendipity.
Whatever was in that dough.
Yeah, bake that dough more.
Bake that dough. What was in that dough gave me some kind of thing to say, I think you're going to get a break very soon. Look, I'm not, you know what?
Dan, we might as well take just 1 minute just to say, and I'm going to say it, congratulations to Dan, 5,000 subscribers. Dan, well done. I know you're coming up.
Are we there?
Yep, we hit it. And I just want to say congratulations because I know it wasn't easy.
Hey, thank you, everybody.
With you and Eric, there was a little turmoil. You weren't even sure what you were going to do. You also had, Bo's been sticking by you, but people forget you had another dog that, literally just didn't work out. So you've had a lot of distractions, but you made it to 5,000. So me and the chat just want to say congratulations.
Well, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Lou, you've been a great support in this push. And thank you to everybody out there that has supported the channel, watching. It's been a fun ride. We started this thing 2 years ago in 2023 in March during spring training, and just a great big shout out. Thanks to all that have helped. Eric over at Giant Sports Talk Live was very instrumental in helping us grow. I didn't know what the heck I was doing when it came to, whatever you want to call
IT aspect,
technology. Yeah, the technology end of it. And Eric was due to it too, and he stepped up and he just figured things out, and we grew to a couple thousand, and then we added a few thousand or so, whatever, in the last year. I guess since last summer. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
we've really grown, and I think going to all sports, it's been pretty phenomenal. But, I just want to speak for the chat. Guys, without you, we wouldn't have this. I know you guys are all upset because we're having a party without Chardal. And Chardal, we don't know where he is half the time, but here it is. We're celebrating 5,000. He's not here, but we'll thank Chardal when he comes on because he usually makes an appearance late. He might be on another talk show right now, but
he may
chat,
be.
Chat. We just want to say thanks to you guys because when I first started, we were lucky to have 50 people in the chat. And, it was one of those things. But now, what's fun, the great thing about this show, Dan, and I think you've made it like this and the chat, and I'll just speak saying how good you are, is you give me a lot of freedom, which I really appreciate. And most importantly, guys, we just do it because we're fans and it's fun. That's really what it's all about. So
absolutely,
I want to thank to the chat
fun.
and Dan. And then last but not least, we have to give him credit, and that's Ryan, the producer. Ryan, I know, especially during the basketball season, you and me butt heads a lot, but I think you've done a great job. And without you, the show wouldn't be complete. So well done. And I just wanted to commend you there.
Very, very good. Yeah, I can't leave out Ryan. He really helped take the show to new heights. So really do appreciate him. And I'm just reading my text here from Casey. I can't show all of it because some of it's pretty but I said to him, well, you can't really read it. I just said, because I was trying to get him on the show, and for certain reasons he's just he'll come on later, but right now he's just going to focus in on on ball, which I told him I don't blame you. I totally understand. I told him, this is my exact words, just focus on your game. I got a good feeling something is going to break for you soon. He said, I appreciate it. Thank you. Me too. Look, I didn't expect it to happen the way it did, and I'm sure he didn't either. And everybody wishes that Chapman was still playing. And, the Giants I think the Giants are a better team when Chapman's in there and Casey's in there. But it sure is nice to have Casey as a backup, and you're not playing some guy that's really a utility guy that's really not a third baseman.
Which is going to hurt the team. Casey doesn't hurt the team. He keeps it there and even, maybe a few pluses. And that's what you need if you want to be a playoff team.
Right. You got to have the backups. You got to have the backups. So I'm just happy that it's working out for him. And, this team is starting to feel, even though, hey, look, you play the games, who's in front of you. Right. And you got to win. And Yaz came through tonight and played really well. Came up with the big hits. And one thing we do need to talk about, Eddie F says he thinks we may see Costs tomorrow. I don't know where you'll see Costs at, though. Where do you put him? If you want to give Adames, I mean, not giving Adames a day off. He's hot and he just had to miss. Maybe you give Fitzgerald a little break for the upcoming series with LA. I don't know. You're definitely not going to put him in there at third. I think we got to talk about one thing, and Mitchell and Ness just stole what I was going to put up, and that is Encarnacion. Encarnacion is. Oh, I'm playing it, and it won't. There it goes. I was in a text conversation with a group tonight, as we text almost every game. And, the thing I asked the question is, will Encarnacion be with the team after the trade deadline? Some said yes. Some said they don't think he'll make it till another week or two. That was something I don't think I've seen that happen in baseball. Was that a pit throw from the pitcher or the second baseman? I can't remember. I haven't ever seen that. It wasn't like he had to reach for it. I mean, it was just like right there, pitch and catch.
I personally think when they come back next week, if he lays more goose eggs, I think he's gone.
Because you're going to have a lot of time.
You're going to have Verlander coming back. Remember how we talked about that? If they bring Verlander back, who's coming off? I mean, you going to do Costs again? You can't
I don't
do
like
Schmidt.
to make. I don't like to make judgment calls on players, their livelihoods, and
of course.
And I'll just say this: I think he's got to start hitting the ball coming through with some big hits if he's going to remain more than 2-3 weeks, because you can't have that. And then the other area of concern right now to me is catcher. You might as well just send him up there without a bat and say, look, we'll see if we can get a walk out of you, because the catching is really, really bad. So they've got to find a catcher. And this is even with Bailey. Okay. Bailey is not a solid hitter. You got to have a situation where you could send up, if the game's on the line and Bailey and the catcher spot's coming up, you better be able to have a decent pinch hitter. So I don't know. This is a concern, Lou. Steven donates another $1.99, then hits a double play to kill an inning right after. Yeah. It's Encarnacion. My concern with him, when a lot of people were high on him, is his swing's awful on a slider. I mean, it's just like he looks like he's, got a telephone pole in his hands trying to swing at a pitch that's 30 feet outside.
He reminds me of what's name from Major League. Who was the guy?
Willie Mays Hayes?
No, the DH guy. He
was
on fastballs.
What's
the guy's name from Major League? Had the voodoo doll. I mean, he's not even close. And you know what's funny is, since he's been up, he's only 1 for 17, but I feel like he's like 1 for 70. He's come up a lot of times. He's not making contact. It's been awful. and and Marcus Tanner. I know, what's funny? Dan said the same thing to me today when Beck came in. Somebody else wrote me, Jay Bito, your boy Beck came in. Hey guys, I'm not friends with him, but it does remind me of Tommy. So if you guys in the Bay Area ever go to Tommy's restaurant on 24th and Gary, tell me you're friends of Lou and ask for the owner. His name is Julio, and say, thanks for the sponsorship with the squares. I'm here to try your famous Tommy Margarita. But it's so funny because, Marcus, MT, every time Beck comes in, somebody writes me and says, Lou, it's your boy from Tommy's, so it's sort of small. But I didn't mean to get in there, Dan. But, yeah, I think there's a major problem. We don't have a DH. We have a lot of holes. And what's sort of incredible is I forgot who made the comment the other day saying if we were to bad, and what's amazing is the last 2 nights, you know what we've done, Dan? We've scored more than 4 runs. And it's amazing when you score more than 4 runs, you're going to win so many more times. So it's a big key, guys. We got to score more than 4 runs, especially against, a bad team. And I think, Dan, you brought up a great point. Yeah, there you go. Pedro Serrano. Very good. Thank you, Philip. The Giants are beating teams. Atlanta has lost 7 out of 8, and Colorado's lost 5 out of 6. So instead of us always saying, oh, God, it's who you play, when you play, hey, the Dodgers are going to be going through the same thing in Colorado. We're doing what we're supposed to do, and it really comes down to, and I'll give Buster a little thing is, as Dan pointed out last night, we had lost, 4 straight. They were down 5-0. The Giants made a move, and it's always like one at bat or one game that changes the season. That Padre game might have changed the whole season.
Oh yeah, the down 5-0 was. I've circled that. That is the biggest game out there. Hey,
biggest game of the year.
Lou, there is a report that you were at tonight's game again. Like I was there last night at the game, and tonight caught you behind the plate.
I can't go anywhere without you guys. When Beck was there, I know.
Beck was. Look, there's Lou out there again, right? I saw that guy in the plaid shirt you were sitting next to too all night, and with the lady with the white hat on. Look at Lou out there yelling at Beck again. There he is, Lou Marston. Fosse, don't tell me about, or somebody who ever told me to clean up my emails. There we go. I got a comment here that, it's obviously not going to happen right now. It's really too late. But, if anybody, Lou, could learn the catcher's position, a guy that can play third base like crazy, has learned first base in a snap, could he in the offseason learn how to catch?
Now,
and he's got a rocket.
Panda was our emergency catcher when he was up. People forget that Panda was our emergency. Let me tell you one thing about catcher. It's all hand-eye coordination, and you got to have a lot of guts because you take a lot of foul balls. It's just not catching and throwing back to the pitcher. You're actually in charge of the infield. But I think maybe on the off season, it's.
I mean, they don't have a catcher. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably got the best arm on the team. I would say this about Casey Schmidt. He's got probably one of the top 10 arms in baseball. Remember, this guy was a closer at San Diego State. Okay. The guy was throwing BBs at, 95, 97 miles per hour at San Diego State as the closer, and then playing third base during the rest of the game. So I would never try catching personally when I was growing up. I just saw the catching position. I said, that's not me. I know a lot of guys that love it. They,
Dan, do you want to know why a lot of guys become catchers? From Cub Scouts to grammar school to high school, it's usually you and one other
Does it
guy
get kicked in the nuts a lot? What? I mean, why?
Nobody wants you. So you're really competing against one guy. When I went to high school, there was nobody else that was even catcher. Nobody even tried out for it because they hated it, and all it takes is one foul ball. I mean, I got more skid marks, I mean, all over my knees from, cleats, metal cleats hitting me, opening up wounds, my knees, and in fact, when I was in 6th grade, my dad sat me down and goes, if you're going to play catcher, and, we played in the independent league in my grammar school, not CYO. We were lucky enough where we had a bunch. So we had to play the real bases. It was a lot different, but my dad said, I don't care what you do. You wear this forever. And I had to wear a steel cup, not the plastic cups that you had.
Oh, the steel cup, man.
Yeah, because, I mean, I had cleats, guys sliding into me with metal cleats, foul balls. The worst is when you're throwing a guy out of third and a guy puts his aluminum bat in the way. There must have been 5 or 6 times where, I mean, you throw it and, but I enjoyed it just because, it was a lot of fun. And, we called pitch outs, trying to throw people out. But, also the other thing is you're never prepared, collisions at the plate. When I was growing up, those guys would try to ball over you. They didn't care.
The catchers, Lou, I mean, come on, you look like a catcher too, right? I mean, you got the build of a catcher. You're broad, and you got that body, and you get down there and protect it. Look, I'll say this: as a catcher, Blake Sable,
and I never did the 1 foot thing they do now.
Yeah, no, they didn't do that. Just came about like 4 or 5 years ago. Blake Sable told me 2 years ago that his dad told him the fastest way to get to the major leagues is
probably
be a catcher that can hit, a left-handed hitter who can hit and can be a catcher. So that's pretty awesome. So I think that's pretty cool. Wow. Let's see. What else do we got here? We got a basketball show going tonight that I was invited to. So it just started right before our show, but we got to run our Giants talk. And tomorrow night, guys, we'll come on, even though the game's in the daytime, we'll come on tomorrow at 8:00. Giants post-game Thursday night wrap. And maybe I'll get Ned Coletti on this weekend too. We'll see. I'll get, maybe if that would be fun, especially if they go in tomorrow night all tied up. What are the odds of us beating the Dodgers, Dan? Are you talking about beating the Dodgers for the season or beating them for the series?
Winning the series, you mean?
I'm not sure. I would say the series. I watched the Dodger-Padre game today. The Dodgers won it. And, the Dodgers announcers are talking after the game about the Giants coming in and the importance of just get the first game of the series. And the Dodgers are off tomorrow. So they're going to be throwing their best pitcher, Yamamoto, against, against Webb, arguably our best pitcher. I really didn't like the idea of Ray going tonight with Harrison going the night before. I would have flipped him. I would have liked Ray to go Sunday. But I guess the good and I don't even know if Ray if it's good for Harrison to pitch being in Colorado for a couple of days and then throwing there, it wipes you out. You could see Robbie Ray was spent tonight. He went 4 innings and he wasn't even throwing hard at the end. He was just trying to get the ball over.
His slider couldn't get over, and he was just like, I can't do this. I can't do it.
I just, as far as winning the series, sure, they can win 2 or 3. It's going to be tough, though. You're facing Yamamoto, and then Sunday night, you got Dustin May. He's beatable. Kershaw's beatable. Yamamoto, the way this team's been hitting, man, I'm afraid the Giants might not even score a run Friday night. I hate to say that, but
Dan, we'll talk about before we do the preview of just how down Yamamoto's been And it doesn't matter if it's on the road. Doesn't matter if it's at home. I mean, he's just been dominating. And if we're having trouble hitting some of these pitchers, like, guys, Colorado with ERAs of 8, wait until you get a guy that pitches 8 different pitches and they all get over.
Hey, we beat 2 lefties in the last 2 days,
which is a big start. I think we're getting close to 500 now.
Ben says, why, with a 4-run lead, why did Melvin use Doval? Well, the reason he used Doval is it was a 1-run lead going into, or was it a 2-run lead or 1 run? 1 run, right? It was 7-6 going into the 9th.
Yeah, he was warmed up. I mean, you don't want
to warm up
another guy.
And he was throwing, he was throwing as hard as he throws in the game. And when you get that hot, you're wasting he's probably not even available to pitch tomorrow if you don't just put him in, because when you get that hot and you're really loose and ready to go, I think if they scored 2 more runs, they were going to go with Jelly, but it was a 4-run lead and Jelly was up throwing. So I don't blame him for really throwing Doval in there, but Doval has just got to put the ball over the plate. You can't, he gets too slider happy with that doggone slider. The one thing about Doval that I've noticed is he's either going with the cutter, which is the 101, 102 mile, or the slider. He doesn't go with mix and match, and it's like, I'm all cutter or I'm all slider. And I don't get it, because I still am pissed off about the 21 series when he kept shaking Buster off against Bellinger, shook him off. And I think that's the one mistake that Buster Posey made in his career that I could say I would have called timeout and gone out to the mound and say, you throw the doggone pitch. I'm telling you, I want it up at the letters, a fastball up at the letters, because Bellinger could not hit the fastball that year. Remember, Bellinger was just missing, swinging and missing and his swing was horrible because he came off the year before. He had the shoulder surgery. Yeah. He threw, and he had shoulder surgery and he was messed up. And so he just wasn't hitting it. And Doval just kept throwing that slider and Bellinger just kept timing it. And then boom, base hit, center field, and then he won.
Buster should have said something. Can you believe this guy? This guy's throwing a 2-out shutout and the guy's shaking me off. Can you believe this? All right, throw the fastball. Guys, remember me, huh? When you talk about me in the dugout. Damn, that guy hit it. Look at that guy. It's almost like he knew it was coming. And I think he won his steak.
So let's wrap this up tonight, because I'm going to head over to the other basketball show real quick. Let's talk about the series coming up. Oh, let's do our stars of the game. Let me pull up the box score.
I will give you the honor.
I get it again?
Big 5,000. We don't have a cake for you, so we'll give you, this will be your gift.
All right. My stars of the game. Last night I went Schmidt, Adames, and who'd I go? I can't remember my third guy. All right. I can't go Casey 2 nights in a row, even though I'm tempted because of the 2 hits, the walk, the slide, the play at third base. But I'm going to give it to Willie Adames, my star of the game tonight. 3 for 4, another home run. My number 1 star, Willie Adames. I'm going to go Yaz, number 2. He came through with clutch hits, 3 RBIs, tied up the game. And number 3, I'm going with Casey.
All right. Good picks. All right. I'm going to go. Case would be 2 hours. I'm going to go Adamas, my number 1 star. I'm going to go Lee. I sort of like him leading off. I think he gets the juices going, gets the flow going. And then my 3rd star, because it's sort of overlooked of everything. And one of the things I talk about our pitching staff is after you have a big inning, the shutdown inning. So I'm going to give it to Rogers as my 3rd star.
Okay.
You know, he basically came in after the Giants, you know, got close, scored 4. He put another goose egg on. And then in the 9th, they came through because, you know, if he doesn't have the big hold, the 9th inning doesn't matter. So those are going to be my 3 stars. And then now we could talk about the greatest rivalry in baseball, not the Red Sox, Yankees, the Giants, and the Dodgers.
There we go. Give us your thoughts, Lou.
Well, one of the things is, guys, one of the biggest problems with the Giants, especially against someone they haven't really seen, you know, and we have problems with lefties. You guys are going to see what a complete pitcher is on Friday. You guys all talk about how good Webb is, how great Webb is, and that's fine. But Webb is not in Yamamoto's league. This is a guy that they signed for $300 million for a reason. Last year, he had to get adapted. But if you watched his last 4 starts, he had 1 bad start against the A's, but he has been incredible. Incredible. His last start was at St. Louis on the road. He had, I think, 11 strikeouts. Nobody got past 3rd. The start before that against Arizona, he pitched 7 innings, gave up 1 hit, 11 strikeouts, no walks. So the Giants going to have to be ready. And I think, Dan, you brought up a great point. Game 1 is huge in a huge rivalry like this because the problem is if the Giants come back, if the Giants lose game 1, they then have to go against a person that has given him a tough time, even though he's an old man, but a lefty. So, you know, I think Friday night's a big game. You know, you got to really do it. But, hey, before you think of Friday, you got to win tomorrow. You can't blow a chance to tie. Here's a chance to tie right now, and it'll be June 12th. This might be the only time all year. You know, you just don't know. You can't lose this. So tomorrow is still a big game, but Yamamoto is a stud, and there'll be a challenge for the pitchers, especially the guys that haven't come through. This is where they got to come through. Someone like Schmidt, this is going to be a huge proving point. He's going against an incredible pitcher. And
let me ask you this. Webb is at Colorado now, I'm assuming. Would you have sent him tonight to LA to get?
I would have probably sent him tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Well, it's a day game.
Before the team. No, before the team. Hey, fly out at 8. Check in, start mentally.
Get a good night's sleep. Get a good night's sleep and head on over to LA.
You know, you don't know about weather. You know, you don't know about the rioting. You know, you don't know what's happening in LA. Get them there safe. And, you know, that's something that I think is big because it's a big game, guys, on Friday. You know, it's funny. Here's going to show you how big Giants baseball is. You're going to have game 4 of the NBA Finals. I know there's no Warriors. Game starts at 5:30, and it's probably not going to end until about 7:45. And then you got the Giants game starting at 7. Let's see if the Bay Area shows up and watches the Giants Dodgers. Or are they going to just watch the NBA game with no Warriors? I think it's a big test. You know, we'll see. You know, hopefully the Bay Area is all showing, you know, and it's Orange Friday. So wear your orange and let's have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man, my sciatic sitting on it. It's killing me. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And it would be really cool to see the Giants make a statement, win tomorrow, and then go into LA and make a statement. Remember, Sunday night's national TV, guys, ESPN. So it's going to be, if you know, Sunday night, I've got a feeling is going to be, I have a feeling that maybe they've split the first 2, and Sunday night for first place. Just
Dan, they could be going in Friday night with an 8-game winning streak.
Yeah. Good thing. Yeah. And Friday night, it's a good thing the Giants aren't competing with the Valkyries, because we all know that if the Valkyries are in town or on the board, NorCal Sports has them covered. Not. Yeah. We are a equal opportunity anti-WNBA station here. Okay. We make no apologies for it. I don't even know one player on the Valkyrie. I don't even care to know one player on the Valkyrie. All as I know is Caitlin Clark can shoot the lights out and is a hell of a player. And Angel Reese has made her name off of fighting, taking cheap shots at Caitlin Clark. And that I've watched some of the highlights of Angel Reese, and she's a certified bricklayer. A true
good point.
Certified bricklayer, and she can't shoot a basketball and from 3 feet, and she doesn't even get off the ground. And it's like, I don't think that's entertainment for me.
Dan, your condition now with your recovering hip, you get more vertical than her.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And oh gosh, I've got a herniated disc in my back, and I've got just off hip surgery, and I probably oh gosh. But this is a fun baseball season so far. Giants, I believe, season high, 12 games over 500 now. They are 40-28. They have a chance to go 13 over tomorrow. This is really, I mean, and you know what, guys? I'm going to say it. The Giants are doing this with smoke and mirrors. They really are. They're not that great of a team on paper. When I watch them, I don't know how they win all these games. They don't have a catcher. They're playing with half of a first baseman.
With the house money. Yeah.
They don't have any really guys. This team doesn't have maybe a couple of legitimate hitters. I mean, I would say Ramos is a pretty solid hitter, and Chapman, when he's hot, he's one of the better hitters in the game, but he's also one of the worst hitters in the game when he's not hot. And that goes with any player when they're not hot, right? But Chapman is hot or cold. There's not an in between. Chapman is hot or cold at the plate. So, and Lee, you know what? Jung-Hoo Lee's been coming around again. Nice to see. Jung-Hoo Lee starting to hit the ball. And that's a positive. Ramos comes through. Wilmer's a solid hitter. Adames is hitting the last 2 games, but let's see him do it outside of course. I want to see him carry this into Chavez Ravine. If Adames can keep it going, and in 3 games, if Adames can get 4 hits, and that's not asking a lot. That's 1 a game. With 1 game, he gets 2 hits. If he can do that, then maybe we're seeing him turn a corner. Okay. But if we get into LA and Adames does, 0 for 12, 1 for 13 type deal, it'll prove to me that it was just Coors Field and an all-time worst team in baseball, possibly in the Colorado Rockies.
I think today, watching the Dodgers against the Padres, they didn't care about yesterday's game. Their main thing was, let's take 2 out of 3. Sort of how the Giants are playing to their competition, barely winning. I think the Dodgers are. I think it's a big series for the Dodgers too. Giant fans are going to be down there. It's Friday night. It's going to be crazy, a good atmosphere. The game's sold out. We're going to see what type of team we are. It's playing the Dodgers at the Ravine is a lot different than playing Coors Field against the Rockies.
Right.
So it's going to be a huge test. But you know what? Hey, that's why we play them, and I'm excited for Friday night. I mean, I know where I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, just make sure if you're in LA going to the game, bring your shield and shield up. Watch out for the bricks. Man, what a mess that is down there, but we won't cover that. But Giants baseball, it's nice to see them relevant. And
there you go. That's a good call.
I do believe that, as I think who said it here? Yeah, Brian. They got great team chemistry and a core who plays together consistently. Goes a long way, and they believe they can compete. I totally agree, Brian. The situation is this. A lot of people don't believe me, but I'm here to tell you the stench that was around the organization with Egghead, Farhan, Pinocchio was so bad that getting that stench out of the room allowed people to breathe. You ever been in you walk into a room that is so bad you're about ready to gag and vomit because you got to get out of there, and that's the way it was with Farhan. There was a stench hanging around, and players there was no joy. There was no, because there was no chemistry. There was no chemistry because there was 88 moves and everybody was coming and going, and it was a joke. And so with what they've done is they've created an atmosphere, a vibe, a chemistry of, an organization, a unity, a direction. There's a leader. It's hard to follow a directionless. How do I say directionless? There we go. Got it out 3 times. It's really hard to follow a directionless leader because Farhan had no clue what he was doing. He was moving guys in and out, trying this and that and this and that. And it was like, even the ownership got tired of it. They were like, what's going on? Why are we doing this? Look, Farhan blew this team last year. They would be even further along this year, guys, if they would have used last year to play Casey Schmidt and Matos every day and let those guys and see what they had. And they would be further along because those players would be more developed. But because that was the time to do it. Now you're in a pennant race. You're in a pennant race now.
Yep.
Now you got to go.
I got a question. With August coming and the Giants being possibly battling for first place, I just wish I had a connection to go see the Giants. Maybe see them in the front row for a ball game. Like on a Friday or something. But you know what? I look on StubHub and tickets are like $300-$400. I just can't go. But if I could just some way, to see the first place Giants. I mean, do you have any connections or any way
that if somebody wanted to try to go to a game and in the front row, I think we do have a connection.
And maybe even go on the field. There's nothing better when a team's in first place. You can go up to someone like Casey Schmidt, and he might even sign a ball or take a photo with you, on the field before Bangor. You know what? I think there is something that we have.
Giant Sports Talk Live and the NorCal Sports Network have teamed up to give back to the community. We ask for your support as we aid in Haylee Busby's fight for life in her battle with liver cancer. To take part in this fundraiser, you can purchase an entry for just $20, and the winner receives 4 front row dugout seats at Oracle Park for your choice of an August 8th game versus the Washington Nationals or the August 29th game when the Giants host the Baltimore Orioles. The winner will also get an on-field experience on game day and attend batting practice. So secure your entry now, as eligibility is limited. Draw date to be determined. The Busby family, Giant Sports Talk Live, and the NorCal Sports Network thank you for your participation and contribution to this worthwhile event, covering the San Francisco Giants and giving back to those in need in 2025. Giant Sports Talk Live and the NorCal Sports Network.
There you go. And
Good
there's
thinking,
your
Dan. I like it.
squares. There's your squares, everybody. Only $20. You got a 1 out of 100 chance of winning if you get 21 square. You got a 5% chance of winning if you buy 5 squares. You get 4 front row seats right there, as you saw in that promo video, right looking into the Giants dugout. You get to go onto the field prior to the game. You get your name on the scoreboard. And you get how much, Lou? Give us that again. $50 what?
Sure. If you notice, we have two sponsors on the sides. Capo's Pizza. If you guys know Tony G of Tony's Pizza, him and Grace, the GM, were nice enough to give us a $50 gift certificate at Capo's, which is right off Columbus. I go there probably twice a week. Spectacular pizza, Chicago style, Detroit style. $50 is more than enough because the portions are so big. And then, of course, when somebody talked about Kristen Beck tonight, Tommy's Mexican on 24th and Gary heard about it. He said, hey, I'm going to do $50 too. Tony can't outdo me. So you have $50 gift certificate at Tommy's Mexican, which is plenty. But just to really make it a little bit more special, you also have a gift certificate for a pitcher of the famous Tommy margaritas, very well known. And, we'll make sure that everything goes perfect. But yeah, you get 2 dinners for one night. I mean, hey, you can just go to the ball game, enjoy yourself at the ball game. The next night, go to Capo's for pizza. And then the next night you go to Tommy's Margarita, and you got to remember 4 tickets front row. I mean,
there you go. And
you can't beat it. And they're in first place.
Squares are filling up, guys.
On a Friday night.
Squares are filling up. Grab some. There's a couple in the single digits, 1 in 5. You got some in the 30s, couple in the 40s, few in the 50s.
Yeah, and with Glenn back, he's probably going to get 5 or 10. I mean, we don't even know if it's completely updated. So don't wait, guys. Yeah. Front row, Giants. Get it for Father's Day. Do something.
Yeah, there you go.
He's helped you out forever.
And it's great, and it's for a great cause to help somebody in need. So Anthony Merkovich says he's got 45, and is 45 on there? This may be not updated. Yeah, you're on there, Anthony. I see it, 45. Okay. Well, guys, it's been a good week. We've had some fun here. We just hit 5,000. So again, thank you everybody for that.
I can't remember the last loss. I can't remember. I was on the road. So
yeah,
now that I'm back, I feel good with a few W's.
Let's keep it going. Tomorrow we get a day game. Let's get out there and make it happen. And we'll be back tomorrow night, and hopefully we'll be talking Dick Pole or number 40. Dick Pole. What a name. How would you like to have that for a name? Dick Pole. Yeah. Geez. Well, parents did him a favor there. Richard. No longer Richard. He's Dick Pole. Oh gosh. What else do we got? Any closing thoughts in the chat? The AI voice sounds like Kapler. Giant Sports Talk Live and NorCal Sports Network have teamed up. There we go.
But it is, Dan, this is probably the first time we're playing the Dodgers. I'm sort of fired up, in a long time, probably since 21 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's going to be it'll be a fun watch. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And our final super of the night, again, from Stefan Perdo, $1.99. He says he doesn't want to see Gerard's face in LA at all. Poor Gerard, man. I feel bad. I kind of feel bad for the guy. You know, he was hitting well in spring training, breaks his hand out there in the outfield on a dive, and then he misses it. Then he comes back. You know what? I'm going to say something here. This is going to sound
come
crazy.
through with a big hit somehow this weekend and get back.
Gerard's going to do something. You know why? Life is weird. Look, Casey had his big shot this year when Lamont was struggling, and he pulled an oblique, right? And he missed a month of the season. And it's like, oh, man, he golden opportunity to prove that he can play. And now this happens. You know, I think what's happening, maybe this might happen with the Giants, is these, every team faces adversity. The Giants are getting a little bit now with Bailey and Chapman out, and they're, going into, big series with LA and all that. But this might make the Giants a stronger team when Chapman comes back. If you find you have something in Casey that's valuable enough that you say, hey, we can play him every day. Or what happens if
give Chapman a couple of days off instead of playing him all the time?
Yeah.
Could be part of a trade. You just don't know.
You don't know. You just don't know. So hopefully this makes the Giants a stronger team. And Gerard I don't think Colorado's interested in Gerard for Ryan McMahon, though. I mean, it's nice to get McMahon, and it's nice to unload one of your worst players, but it would be kind of like, why would Colorado? You got to ask yourself as a Giants fan. It's obvious you make that trade, but you got to ask yourself, if you're Colorado, why would you do that? Now, if you gave somebody else in there that might be a young prospect that Colorado likes, they might consider something like that for Robbie, because you know what? If Gerard can hit in Colorado, he might hit some balls that I'll say this about Encarnacion. He hits the ball when he makes contact. It's loud. And in Colorado, it could fly out of there 480 for him. He's a big dude.
Dan, how about this? Would you make a trade, Hicks and Schmidt, for Ryan? And maybe
for Ryan McMahon?
Guys?
For Ryan McMahon? No, because I don't think you need Ryan McMahon. Where are you going to play him?
I'm always trying to get rid of Hicks, so I'm just, thinking outside the box.
I've got Hicks. I got to deal Hicks. I'm dealing Hicks to Atlanta for Sean Murphy. Atlanta has a young catcher that's 23, Drake Baldwin. It's their future. And Murphy is signed for through 29. It's a big contract. It's like $15 million a year.
Take care of a left-hand power hitter and first base.
Well, he's not left-handed. He's right-handed, but he's a catcher.
No, I'm talking about who we trade for. My fault.
Oh, okay. I was talking about trading for Sean Murphy. Yeah. Another guy.
Okay. I was thinking of the first baseman for the Braves. Sorry.
Oh, Matt Olson. Yeah.
Matt Olson.
That would be hard to get Matt Olson, but if you can get Matt Olson, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Here's another trade I put together tonight, guys. This one is hard to do because the Giants do not have, you can't really see it, guys, right there, but on my phone.
We're giving up 6 guys for 2, or
we're giving up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason the Giants have to give up 6 for one guy is because they don't have anybody in their farm system that's ranked high. So this trade is Kyle Harrison, James Tibbs, Dakota Jordan, who's in the minors and is years away, Keaton Wynn, Reggie Crawford, Carson Seymour. That's 1, 2.
So one guy in the pros, 5 in the minors.
Yep. And that's 1 left-handed starting pitcher and 5 and 2 other pitchers, starting pitchers, Wynn and Seymour. And then you got two young outfielders in Tibbs and in Jordan, and then Reggie Crawford, a reliever, for Brent Rooker to the A's. Brent Rooker, you can put him at DH or in the outfield.
I like him.
And the guy can mash. He's 30. He signed for a few years. And look, Reggie Crawford, no loss. Carson Seymour, win. Jordan and Tibbs, who knows if these guys will make it. I've heard they're keeping Harrison Dakota Jordan, says From the Bay. Well, if you want to get Rooker or a guy that can hit, Giants don't have any hitters right now. If you want to get, you got to extend this lineup. Stefan Perter says Perto doesn't want to lose Tibbs. Well, look, I can name you about 15 prospects the Giants said they don't want to lose, and they never amounted to nothing. Nothing.
Agree.
You don't think they need Rooker? Matt Olson is cheaper. I don't know if Matt Olson is cheaper. Let me check the trade machine, because I'll tell you what, when you go to the trade values, it's based on their productivity, their age, and their contract. And
Dan, just again, Encarnacion, what was he batting in AAA? So when we got excited, they were going to call him up just to show you what a difference between the pros is. Was he 384? Guys, even though they hit good in the AAA, Schmidt's sort of an exception to the rule. He's probably going to be batting the same. But these guys bat 390, 380 in AAA. They come to the pros. He's batting 056. It's not the same. I mean, you see pitches in the pros. That's why they're in the pros that nobody in AAA has. And we got to get something up to get something.
Matt Olson has a surplus of where is Matt Olson? You know what? Matt Olson would be cheaper than Rooker, and I would actually prefer Olson because he's a lefty and he's a great first baseman. Why is Matt Olson not on my list? Come on. He can't have a negative.
Maybe because he still has how many more years left in money-wise, maybe.
See, I don't know why people keep signing these guys for long-term and then they have no value because nobody wants their contracts except the team that signed them and they're stuck with them. Something's not right here. Matt Olson. I'm missing Matt Olson. Nick Allen. Come on, Nick Allen is not more valuable than Matt Olson. Please. Owen Murphy, minors. I don't know why Matt Olson, I can't find him. I don't like this trade machine when they don't put my guys on here. That's ridiculous. Okay, I'm scrolling through, guys, here. You guys can't see it, but I'm looking for Matt Olson. He's not even on their page. That's ridiculous. Fixture.
He does lead the Braves in RBIs.
Well, there he is. He's minus 2.2. Okay. He's minus 2.2. We can give him any scrub. We got a lot of minus 2.2s. That isn't going to work, though. You're going to have to give up more than prospect. But you could give up, you could give up one guy. Tristan Beck's worth 2.5 and Olson's minus 2. That's ridiculous. How can Matt Olson be? I don't get that one. That's wrong. That's wrong. But it's because of his contract. You're right, Mark Graves. His value in the trading market is not great because teams don't want that big contract. They don't want to get stuck with it. So if the Braves are willing to pay a lot of the salary, and then he becomes much more valuable. All right, guys, I'm tired. I don't know if I'm going to go on that other show or not. It's 10 o'clock. Are they still going? Let me look. I'm in sciatic hell pain right now. If you guys have ever had sciatica, you know what I'm talking about. Let's see if these guys are still going. Looks like they are. Well, we've been going an hour and 10 minutes. Giants win it.
Perfect.
10-7.
We'll go tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, 8:00, guys.
Hopefully with a sweep.
Yes. So, hey.
And Dan, one more time with me in the chat, just saying thank you again. 5,000, major thing. So well done. And to Ryan, thanks for your help.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you
Congrats.
for being part of NorCal.
And thank you, Buster.
Network.
Thank you for giving Dad a couple hours a night. Thank you, Buster.
Yeah, Buster's over there. He's always worried. There he is.
Buster.
Hey, buddy. Buster, say hello. Say hello, buddy. He was playing with his chicken earlier tonight. Yeah, he had his little chicken with his squeaky toy. He was happy about that. All right. So hopefully tomorrow, you know what? Giants win tomorrow. I'm putting them on top.
Ooh. When was the last time it was up on top? Have you done it once on the show?
I think we were early in the season for a day. Mark Gray's, when do I get my Ramos jersey? Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, really appreciate you being part of NorCal Sports Network as we move and grow this thing onward and upward, and really do appreciate it. Yeah, it's Buster Boy. It's a he, obviously named after Buster Posey. So, hey, let's put ourselves big on the screen. Look at this. How if we do this? Well, there we are. Big. Thanks, Brian. Good night, Philip. Yeah, I got Chapman on my IL for my fantasy. Well, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night. We'll be talking sweep. Hopefully, I believe. So, watch the ball game. See you tomorrow night, guys.